Hey everyone, we're just corralling people now, so it shouldn't be much longer.
Howdy, folks. Sorry for being late.
Welcome. I was late too. For some reason, my brain had it an hour from now.
Yeah, it's a busy time. It's just in a long meeting, series of meetings.
I think that's what life is, right?
That's what
Series of
life
meetings.
absolutely is.
I was, geez, the organization I was part of when I first met Al, I think we averaged 12 hours of meetings a day. It was pretty stupid.
Yeah, no, they catch up to you, and then all of a sudden you're overwhelmed with them. You're swimming in a sea of it, and you have to kind of I don't know, parse through the minutia, and then I found, there's a big ebb and flow of, you get a bunch more meetings and then you got to get rid of all your meetings and then all that time that you got back ends up getting filled with meetings again.
Yeah. And when you reflect a little bit, you realize that your actual time for doing deep work is like 45 minutes a day. And it's just,
Right?
it's
Yeah,
kind of
they
tough.
totally gotten to the point in my calendar where I'll put in a slot. I'll be like, here's 45 minutes where I'm just going to focus, or an hour and a half where I'm just going to focus on some stuff.
That's a good policy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it helps. It goes far.
Welcome, Al. Are you here? There we
Hey,
go. How are things going on your world?
busy, busy.
Busy, busy.
Busy
How
Busy's the name.
busy before mainnet versus busy after mainnet? Different type of busy, or much the same?
I think
Only
Al
so
said
many
it
hours in the day, man. You're either full or they're not. That's it.
I
Yeah,
think Al said it pretty well earlier. Is like it's the end of the beginning, and it's sort of the beginning of the next chapter of what comes next. So we all it was busy pre mainnet, and now it's just post mainnet, and it's still going to be busy. I think we're always working to make better things for the community, right? Um, and I think that just takes up all of our time. And because we're passionate, we're dedicated. We want to see this
yeah.
community grow.
Well, Al's always worn a million hats for Koi, and I didn't know if some of those hats have now changed after mainnet, or whether got to like shift focus a little bit. His first love, as far as I understand it, being like where tech meets philosophy and practicality. Like, do you get to do more of that now, or is it still the same old million directions at once?
And it's always incremental. We're here mostly every day. We're looking at just, how do we improve the efficiency of the network? At the end of the day, Koi is something that's never been done before. So it comes down to, can we do this in a way that's going to make everybody's lives easier, make it easier for developers to build on top of the network, or make it easier for node operators so you guys are earning more for having your compute connected. Um, at the end of the day, though, it's like the node does pay you mostly for something that costs very little. If you already have the internet connection and you've got your computer connected, then it doesn't cost much to have Koi. So our goal is to make sure that you're getting something every day and getting kind of a piece of the big future. But yeah, it's all about just kind of streamlining those little pieces and continuing to make it better and better every day.
Well, something interesting in there. I remember like 3 years ago, the big mantra was like, "We're early adopters. We're here at the very beginning of this new seismic shift." Where would you say we are now? Like one more
I
cycle under our
Still
belt.
early adopters, Chris. It's that's I think that's not how history works, right? History works in 10-year increments. So 2 years is not a big difference in the 10-year cycle.
Right. So I guess that's the point I'm making. Like even small incremental investments at this point, following the Warren Buffett philosophy, are going to add up 10 years from now, right?
Yeah, I mean, one Bitcoin in 2005 was or 2012 was a lot, right? and people didn't quite understand the value there. I love seeing these StarCraft competitions and stuff where there was there's usually there's a main prize which would be like $100 or $500, and then the runner-up prize would be like 1 or 5 Bitcoin or something like that. Pretty ironic these days.
That is, I remember, like, I think I think it's accurate. It could be urban legend. Like the pizza, like one of the first transactions was a pizza bought for multiple thousands of bitcoins. Like, I can't imagine that the guy buying, I think it was 2 pizzas actually. I can't imagine he's feeling pretty good about that purchase now.
Yep, that's for sure. We do have something we want to talk about today, which is probably a good announcement for the community to hear about. Did you have anything on the docket that you want to get into, Chris, or should we just dive right into the bonus task?
No, these are all very casual. This is supposed to be conversation based, so go right ahead.
Cool. So bonus task is the big exciting thing this week. This is just about, oops, sorry, this is just about done now. The goal is people obviously have been waiting for the DEX to launch for a while. That's an ecosystem team, so we're trying to get that moving as fast as we can. But in the meantime, we wanted to make sure that anybody who's mining these KPL tasks are going to get rewarded in Koii tokens as well. And we wanted to also offer some opportunities for developers to get rewarded. And so we've created the Koii bonus task, which should be going out today or possibly over the weekend. This is going to be a task that you guys can join, and you can stake Koii tokens to vote on where this bonus goes. And so we've taken a bonus out of the ecosystem pool, and it's going to get allocated across KPL tasks. So if you're staking on a KPL task and you get rewarded in KPL tokens, you're also going to get a bonus in Koii tokens on top of that. And the more you stake on this bonus task in your Koii tokens, you'll be able to vote on which KPL tokens get the most rewards. And so if there's a KPL project you really like, then you should go stake a lot on this bonus task, and that's going to give you a chance to reward the community for basically mining all of these new tokens. And the goal is for developers here. That means that a developer will be able to get as many computers as possible, and they can pay out in their KPL token with no out-of-pocket costs. And so the developers will get rewarded, and also developers will get a share of the bonus task rewards as well. And so that means that the developers behind these projects will also be getting some Koii tokens, which can go towards supporting their lifestyle and ensuring that they can hire help or pay for any hosting costs or anything like that that they need. So this is going to be a really exciting thing coming out in the node in the next couple of weeks, and it means that all of you can get a chance to earn some passive income and potentially leapfrog as you get even more Koii tokens.
Yeah, this means 2 really exciting things for the community. The first is that devs get paid in Koii to launch a new task. Just think about that. If you launch a new task on Koii, you get paid in Koii for doing that. The more nodes you get, the more you'll start getting rewarded. The other thing is for the node operators, when you mine a new task, when you get those new KPL tokens, you'll also start to earn Koii based off the task that you're running. So this is just more Koii for the node runners, more Koii for the devs. Overall, it's a huge incentive program, and it's hopefully going to start getting a lot more movement going, a lot more excitement, getting more rewards in your guys' pocket, and making devs more excited to actually release new tasks. And we think that's the huge driving factor, moving forward, is we're an L1, and we have this great product that can support great businesses. And now we want to get those businesses in here to really start flourishing. So the bonus task is a really exciting new initiative, and we're really hoping that it's that kind of reward that you guys have been waiting for so long.
In your mind, is this the new primary way for people to actually mine and get Koii?
So just to clarify, you still have to mine other tasks. That's the whole point. So the whole point of this is you mine all the tasks you're mining right now, and the bonus task gives you an extra reward in Koii tokens on top of all the KPL tokens you're already getting.
Right, but Koii tokens over time have been a little bit diluted with all the other tokens flooding the marketplace, and I've seen people ask, "How do I get more Koii tokens?" Is this a significant way of doing? I guess is where I'm getting.
Yep. Yeah, that's the whole point. Lots of Koii tokens for everybody.
Right.
We have an ecosystem pool of Koii tokens available, so this is when we're going to give them out to all of you and ensure that everybody gets a piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we have this big ecosystem fund that we're basically trying to source, and the idea is that really consistently everybody will be getting more Koii delivered to them as a reward. The flow will look something like you'll run the bonus task, just like you're mining any other task, and it'll look like you're running a regular task. Then, as you're running all of those other tasks that you're doing, the bonus task will look at them, and it'll kind of just, say, okay, so this person's running these tasks, and this person's running those tasks. And then the idea is that for mining all these KPL tokens, this huge pool of Koii tokens that we're trying to get together will be rewarded to you guys incrementally. So it'll be a massive way to get Koii tokens. It'll be a huge reward. We're hoping that it drums up a lot of excitement in the community to start seeing, that Koii come back to your rewards portal. We know a lot of people have been seeing a lot of fire, a lot of bird, and those are fun tokens. Don't get me wrong, but we get that people want to see the Koii. So we're hoping that this is a amount of Koii that's significant enough to get everybody excited and engaged in what we're planning on doing next, especially for 2025. We have a lot of big plans.
Sounds great. Um, do you have a date when this is going live, or is it still happening?
It's still heavily in testing. Unfortunately, we will be having another discussion today just to try and get it out to you guys as soon as possible. Every day we're grinding,
Probably,
eight.
probably before Monday, though. It's going out. It's supposed to go out either today or Monday, and it'll be running by the time that anybody looks at their computer next week.
Great. I guess that's one of the benefits of your time zone. You get to get up to the crack of dawn and beat the rest of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I never really thought too much about that. But I suppose it actually is. We're in, a province of Canada called Nova Scotia, and it's actually really traditional for businesses to set up satellites here because we're at a really good time zone where we can talk with one part of the world and the other without it being too much of a stretch. Uh, Kind of funny you brought that up. So it's a really big thing for Ubisoft. They were big into the satellite studios.
I didn't realize that. Okay. So maybe
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dream of the co-working space under the Koi umbrella has potential.
Has potential, absolutely.
So, guys, I think we should probably drop into a Q&A because we have to cut this one a little bit short today. So we're going to have to wrap up in about, I think, 10 minutes or so we can go back to the planning meeting, Avi. Is there any questions from the community here in the chat? I'm not seeing a ton of them popping up. If anybody has any, please drop them in there, or you guys can request to speak as well. I see one from No Name here asking about building a DEX on Koii. We can swap testnet BTC to mainnet BTC. I'm not sure about that because we don't actually really have BTC on Koii right now, but we definitely will have a DEX coming on Koii, and we definitely hope to see the bridge go live to Solana quite shortly. So there will be a whole bunch of that stuff coming very, very, very soon. I think the delivery date for the bridge and the DEX side of things is going to be kind of mid-February.
Oh, you're looking at the dev webinar questions. Nice.
Oh, that's what those are. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be moving our dev webinars to YouTube Live for next week. You'll be able to then find all the recordings on YouTube, keep up to date with all the new dev happenings. So we're just temporarily using the Discord space for those who are confused. But we'll be doing our announcements soon. If you're up to date with the developer webinar email list, then you'll be getting all the updates. We also drop them here in Discord, of course, as well.
While we're waiting for you to address the next question, I want to ask this every once in a while. Is there a best practice currently for, I would say, your mid-range computer running tasks? Like as far as task number, or is that completely task dependent at this point?
Well, look, some of the tasks don't require any compute capacity at all, and if you can run as many of those as you want. I would look at the actual tasks themselves. Usually, they're pretty clear about whether they're heavy usage tasks or a bit lighter. And if they're lighter usage tasks, you can run a whole bunch of them. What we do recommend though is only one task that has a Twitter credential, and then keep an eye on your bandwidth as well. If you feel like your computer is running slow, then run less tasks, and if your computer is not running slow, then run more tasks. Typically. That's usually the easiest way to tell.
Well, I remember at one point there was a penalty if you had signed up for too many tasks and weren't performing. So That's why I ask, is that something to still be concerned about, or is it kind of obvious when you see your computer lagging that you might get penalized?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have a firm guideline there, but we can definitely try to help out a little bit and maybe develop one in the future. I'm sure Bob Nimus and his team probably have a bit more information than we would.
Great. Okay. Anything to help take guesswork out of new platforms. I'm an older guy, so I get overwhelmed easy. Um, but as things stand now, I have a fairly old computer now. It's like 4 years old, a laptop, and I'm running like 9, 10 tasks, no problem. So that's more than I'd ever hoped to. Did
Yeah,
you
I
have any
see.
other questions? Okay.
Yeah. I do see a question here from X there in chat. When are we going to see the Pentagon Games task? Hopefully next week is the answer. We've been working a lot with them to get this live. It's basically almost there. We were chatting this morning actually about the next steps. So it's just a matter of the task is live on testnet if you want to go check it out there, but it's just a matter of getting it live onto mainnet now. So hopefully by next Friday you'll see that task live in the node. Really exciting to launch that one. Let's see. What are plans to reach more people? More people. I think it's trying to release new and engaging and exciting tech and features on Koii. If we get really, I think it all comes down to the rewards per day, right? If we can generate enough utility on the network, then you guys are getting rewarded, and you guys want all the rewards, so you're going to be here every day, and then other people are going to inherently notice that, and they're going to want to become a part of that. I think it's a really natural thing. I was talking about sort of this 10-year cycle. Um, when you focus on the long term and you build really good stuff, people just come. They just end up flocking to your network. The numbers come. Of course, we're working on marketing, and we have our social spaces, we have our X spaces. We engage with partners. We'd like to get out there to all the events and stuff, like ETH Denver and all those fun ones. Um, but I think that ultimately, doing that is super important to get our name out there. But ultimately, if we just release really good tech and we build really good utility, especially for you guys, then I think that's how we'll end up reaching more people. Just sort of being the best at what we do.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I see
Um,
another question. Just clarifying, we shouldn't run multiple task sets at the same time requiring an X account. Typically, we don't recommend this. Yeah, so you should run one task that takes one account. We just do this to prevent, sometimes it's really obvious when two tasks are running. If they're doing really two diametric, like two opposite things, then maybe a bot detection will see that. So that's why we always recommend just running one task that requires an account. So one X account task, one Reddit account task, for example. I always just click ignore conflicting messages. Yeah, well, I mean, if that works for you, absolutely. I always recommend reading the messages, though.
what is your recommendation for when a task comes up and says this has not been approved by Koii? Run at your own risk.
My go-to is I inspect the code. So if you ever click on a task there, you can always click on inspect the code. And I understand if you're not a technical person, then that's really hard for you. If you're a technical person, just look at the code and understand it. And then if again, you're not that technical person, come to the Discord community and ask about it. I think that's the best way. Or even on X is another way to ask about it. Just say like, hey guys, new task that I'm seeing here. Who's running it? Is it safe? Typically, you can click on a task and you can see how many nodes are running it. So we can go to the free Soma task right now. That's made by Soma. It's one of Koi's developers, in-house engineer. I can see 986 nodes running it. So I'd feel pretty confident myself running this as as an unverified task. Something that we've been looking into is releasing a new part of the VIP program, which will allow the VIPs to sort of vote and verify on tasks too. So let's say 1,000 VIP members came in, they ended up voting, putting 1,000 votes down. Um, on the free Soma task, it would get verified and would become trusted. And the hope is that one, these people are all running the task, and B, there's enough tech savvy people going through, inspecting that code, reading what it's doing, and sort of creating this community consensus around what we do and don't want on the community and within Koi. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, is that it's really a crowd power thing.
So that addresses a number of users. Is there a temporal component to this? Like if something's been running a week with no problems versus an hour with no problems? Um,
It really
Yeah, I
does.
think I just want to clarify here too. Obviously, talking a lot about like the current process that exists right now. I think what we're moving towards here is like mostly this stuff will be handled by AI agents, and like you might have an opportunity to run one of these agents and get paid in Koi tokens. So the goal here is you have your computer as a runtime environment where you can test out that the task works as expected. And if you run it on enough computers and it doesn't cause any problems, then it's pretty clear that it's not malicious and that it's working as expected. Um, Really, there's only two things we're worried about when it comes to tasks, right? Like either it isn't going to pay people as expected, which that's frustrating, and like we want to make sure everybody's getting paid fairly. Or B, that the task that you're running is potentially doing something that it doesn't say that it's doing. So both of those are things that we can check pretty easily, and like we've been doing it internally, and we're working on kind of getting the community a little bit more involved with the Big Fish program and things like that. But overall, I think the big outcome here is we want people to have pretty strong assurances, and we're working hard to get like AI agents and other tools that are going to be a little bit more efficient to be able to do this very quickly. Because we're building for a network here where we want, we're hoping for a network where we have millions of tasks, and there's a point there where it's just not feasible to review them all ourselves.
right. So do you have any comment for what people should be doing in the meantime that
Well,
differs
in the
from
meantime,
others?
there's two options, right? Like if you're a developer, open up that source code and take a look. Obviously, we check that the source code matches what's actually running on your node. So that's being done already in the background. Um,
Great.
and it kind of comes down to also like coming to these sessions and hearing from the founder of these projects and taking a look at what they're doing, asking questions, being involved in the community. And you can also always hop into the Discord and ask, like, hey, is anybody else running this task? It's pretty easy though. Like if there's already 1,000 people running a task, it's probably unlikely that it's that they're being hacked or there's something bad's happening. It's pretty easy to see that there's a group of people doing it, and then once you've got a group of people doing something, then you can kind of trust that they wouldn't all be doing it wrong, right? Of course,
Right.
that's a little risky, but we're working on doing it better in the future.
Great. Okay. I know I've been asked that several times, so now I know what to say. Um, I do at some point want to get back into some larger picture philosophical stuff. It doesn't seem like this is the week to do it, but in the future, I'd love to maybe take a bite out of the changes that are proposed with the SEC and what that means for Koi in the larger community, just to put that on your radar. Because I think that's something a lot of us are interested in, and I suspect you'll have some opinions. But for right now, are there any other questions? You indicated you needed to get back to a meeting soon.
Yeah, we've got a big sprint happening today actually, so we're kind of powering through a few of those meetings, and I think probably Avi and I have to jump back to those. But I think next week, maybe what we can do between now and next week's town hall is we can take some questions from everybody in the community and start getting some topics that people are interested in hearing more about. Might not hurt to run a poll in the general channel, for example.
Great. Okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
Well, I hope
Um,
your sprint goes well, and keep us posted.
Sounds good. Lots more coming. Other last thing, I guess, is the big news this week with DeepSeek kind of upstaging OpenAI.
Mhm.
That's amazing news for Koya. It's an open source algorithm now that does as well as OpenAI does on a lot of different types of tasks. So we're definitely looking at how we can run that on Koya and get it into your hands so that all of you can get access to it. So there's definitely some big opportunities there now that we have a new leading AI algorithm. But we'll share more.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that unfolds too. Currently, they seem to be lacking a little functionality, but what they do very well. So
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it's very important to have a specific tool like that, and getting it running on Koi is going to be pretty exciting.
absolutely. All right.
More to come.
Well, you have a great week. I'll see you in
Thanks
a week's
everyone.
time.
Bye for now.
Bye.